Hello, hockey, basketball, and soccer fans. My name is David. I thought I would start this video at 4:24 on the afternoon of Halloween 2023 Eastern Time. That's 31st of October. It's a Tuesday over in southern Ontario in Canada. So before I go to the hockey and more detailed explanation of the Raptors' woes, I thought I would first go through upcoming schedule up to and including this coming weekend. And there's one game on tap in terms of MLS Cup playoffs with regard to Canadian teams. The Whitecaps will be hosting the defending MLS Cup champion Los Angeles FC at BC Place. It'll be an afternoon one. It'll be like an evening one with respect to Eastern time, 7:30 broadcast time. Forget what Canadian TV network will be carrying it. I don't know if there'll be so many hockey games on. Like maybe that I'm just gonna flip between them, among them, and all that. Things aren't looking too good. Whitecaps having lost their last game, which was a weekend one, on Saturday Eastern time, in Los Angeles, so at BMO Stadium. So it was no doubt the Whitecaps didn't even have a lead in that game at any point. Because Whitecaps only scored 2 goals, and by the time they responded, LAFC had already been up 2-0. It would be 2-1. So now we go to the Raptors and their upcoming schedule. I'm just going to go to their least games to taking place up to including the first weekend of November. Just going to alright, so just going to see. So there's no Raps have gone 1-3. So be games Eastern time Wednesday evening at home to the Bucks, Thursday at home or away against the 76ers, and at home on Sunday against the San Antonio Spurs, or away against San Antonio Spurs. So at least the Raps will have more than just 24 hours, or just under 24 hours though, off between games. Although the rest of the month there are 2 pairings of games left. In December, there's 2 pairings of games in consecutive calendar days Eastern time. In January, there's 1, 2. Yeah, it's just 2. 1, 2, 3, and a pairing of games on 28th and 28th of February is the second last day of that month because it's a leap year. So there's 3 in March. They have just 1 set of games. So of 1, 2 pairs of games, back to back, consecutive calendar days Eastern time. So the Raps are going to have to get ready to win some games, but it's hard to be optimistic. But first, I'm going to go to games that have in the National Hockey League, that have respective Canadian teams taking place from Sunday Eastern time, starting with the Heritage Classic, and what the Leafs can learn from that game. So just going to go. I'm just going to see if I can just. All right. Let's go get the. So before I go to the Heritage Classic, I thought I would go to recap games that took place on that start on Monday Eastern time. We have the Habs losing in a shootout to the Golden Knights. Jets losing in overtime to the New York Rangers. Yeah, it's overtime. those are the only Canadian teams in action on in games that started Monday Eastern time. So I'm gonna go. The Los Angeles Kings have two rather powerful centers. In terms of good scoring centers. Pierre-Luc Dubois, who they had acquired from the Winnipeg Jets past offseason, and longtime one Anze Kopitar, who they had drafted. Hard to believe it's still in the National Hockey League. He's one of the only player from who I know of, who I'm aware, who's under contract to an NHL team from the former Yugoslavia. Not that ultimately Kopitar will have to retire, but who knows? So obviously we're going to go to the Heritage Classic because that is a real important game. The Leafs end up not generating a lot of offense in that, in their own game against the Preds. I haven't yet gotten to watch the video video preview of the game, the upcoming Leaf game against the Kings at Scotiabank Arena, but from the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Sports series of podcasts, but I plan to do so as soon as possible after I have recorded this video. Okay, so here we go. So overall in that game, the Oilers won over half the faceoffs, out shooting the Flames, out hitting them. Took a lot of penalties though, and the Flames scored on the power play. So that is important because taking too many penalties is a big problem. And again, it is. The Flames took just 2 penalties, and the Oilers didn't need to score on their power play to get ahead. The Oilers did not score even one special teams goal. Flames dominated on special teams, 2-0. So again, the Leafs need to take full advantage of their power plays, and it's for all. Just gonna go back to. Let's go back to that scoring summary for the Leafs and Preds, if I can look it up. Alright, so we're going to go to... Alright, so go to there. So last weekend, I'm just going to go and... because the Leafs, the Habs end up getting a shootout loss, they are ahead. So the Leafs have to be real careful. They're going to have to win. A win means, at worst, the Habs are idle, so just check that there. So yeah, because the Habs are idle, and it will be until... Do the Habs play it all on Wednesday? Nope. Yeah, play on Thursday. But the Leafs are going to have to win. They got to get those points, because otherwise they may fall out of 4th. And that's a concern. The Leafs frittering away points at a crucial time. And because they did so, it was overtime loss. So I'm just going to go and see if I can look it up. Just gonna look it up there. Just that's a little bit slow, so please bear with me. So Leafs did score on their own power play. Problem is, secondary scoring mostly didn't show up. Among forwards, not in the Marner, Tavares, Matthews, Nylander quartet, David Kampf was the only one to earn a point. That's not good. And also the penalty kill was a disaster. 2 goals, both by Ryan O'Reilly, effectively killed any chance the Leafs had. The Leafs have to find ways to beat goalies, to beat elite goalies such as Juuse Saros. They didn't do that. And the postseason, that has killed them. Not getting enough traffic in front of goalies in postseason games has killed the Leafs in too many playoff series in the past. The Leafs only have one playoff series win in the salary cap era. Will the Leafs get another? I'm not convinced they will. So the Leafs have to score early and often. Will they do that against the Kings? Who knows? But there's no doubt whatsoever that they need to do so. To get the wait there. Let's go get the Heritage Classic. Alright, the Heritage Classic. So what's happening here? So Flames scored 2 goals on their own PP. There was a couple of 5-on-3 situations, 5-on-3 disadvantages the others had. So there was one of them in the first period. Boarding against some Gaudry, and then a broken stick one called Leon Draisaitl. And then that was not costly, but another one later on. It was a roughing against Dryden Hunt, and that was for 2, and that was costly. And then the second period, AJ Greer on a power play, assisted by Mackenzie Weegar and Jacob Markstrom. That was on a Vincent Desharnais interference call against for interference on AJ Greer, and Greer scored that goal just in the dying seconds of a power, basically right at the end of that power play. So again, and key Leafs are going to have to also, score the opening goal. Against Kings, it's going to go. All right, it's going to go here. Just. It's going to try to go. So it's a very kind of unusual start. It's unusual kind of broadcast start time, which is 8 Eastern time. Let's see about Canadian TV network that has the game. I'm not sure if it's TSN or Sportsnet. Just gotta figure it out. Just gonna. Yep, it's going to be on TSN, Channel 4. Leafs pregame at 7:30 Eastern Time. Sports Center TV from 6 to 7:30 on TSN Channel 4. Please note that the game is blacked out to anyone who does not have whose Canadian TV subscription is not based in the Leafs region. I live in the Leafs region, so subscription is not blacked out. So it's gonna go to I'm gonna see if there's any inkling as to what the starting lineup for the Leafs is going to be. The main goalies for the Kings are Phoenix Copley and Cam Talbot. Copley's been a sieve. Talbot was a sieve with the Sens last season. But again, I wouldn't sleep on the Kings there. So just going to see if there's anything. So at Monday Eastern Time, Mark Master of TSN had filmed Tim Liljegren on the ice at a Leafs practice. So what I'm going to do is the Joe Wall was expected to start in for Leafs on Tuesday at that home game. So go with hour 1 of gameplay on TSN on Toronto radio station TSN 1050. So Mark Masters. Other than that, it's a full hour, so I have to see what it is. So let's see here. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So the Leafs have to be on the ball. The Flames weren't on Sunday, and they lost. And this week we have, so also on Tuesday Eastern Time, we have the Canucks hosting the Preds. So it'll be a broadcast time, 10 Eastern Time on, let's see, about, where's on Sportsnet here? It's on Sportsnet Channel 1. So yeah, it's going to be doing some channel flipping here. So yeah, it's going to be maybe get a little bit of overlap with the Leaf game, and if there's one Sportsnet channel it's on, yeah. So Wednesday we have for the Canadian teams, the Flames hosting the Stars. So that'll be on. So where do we go on? Let's do that. So that's 8. What's that there? Let me just go check that there. 8:30 Eastern Time. So we have. Is that gonna be on NHL Center Ice? Flames hosting the All Stars. So that's okay. That is on a Wednesday Eastern Time. Not sure exactly on what NHL Center Ice channel there is. I don't know. Oh wait, there is. So Sportsnet Channel 1, 8:30 to be. So Sportsnet Channel 1. So it'll be the only Canadian team in action. So Thursday, it's going to be a busy one. Sens host the Kings, 7 Eastern Time. The Leafs will be away against the Bruins. It'll be 7:30 broadcast start time. The Oilers will be hosting the Dallas Stars. After an away game by the same Stars club the previous evening Eastern Time, to the south in Calgary against the Flames. Habs will be in the state of Arizona to face local Coyotes squad. That'll be a late one, 10 Eastern Time to start. Jets will be away against the Golden Knights, 10 Eastern Time start. The Canucks will be playing in San Jose against the Sharks. So just going to recap on Thursday how many Canadian teams are. So there's 1. So Sens in action for Leafs. Sens at home, Leafs away, Oilers at home, Habs away, Jets away, and Canucks away. So, is there any Canadian team that is not in action? That'd be the Calgary Flames. Calgary Flames are that will have played on Wednesday Eastern Time. So, Friday, there is no Canadian NHL team in action. Saturday Eastern Time, there's going to be a lot of games. So 3 Eastern Time, broadcast start time, Oilers hosting the Preds. 4 Eastern Time, New Jets playing old Jets. In terms of team formerly known as Winnipeg Jets. Coyotes, 2 in the same division, so it could be an interesting game. So 7 Eastern Time, we have the Leafs hosting the Sabres. Sens hosting the Bolts. The Habs playing an away game against St. Louis Blues. So go there. And the 10 p.m., 10 Eastern Time, broadcast starts. The Canucks hosting the Stars. And the Flames playing an away game at Climate Pledge Arena against the local Kraken squad. So that's going to be on. So that'll be on Saturday Eastern Time. Games that start on Saturday Eastern Time, but will not necessarily end. So the 10 start time, puck drop 10:20 or so, 10:20, 10:25. So it'll probably go into past midnight, into Sunday Eastern Time. So Sunday Eastern Time, we have this coming weekend. No game to be played by a Canadian team, by a Canadian NHL team. So yeah, so now look at the Raptors, and it's just been a disastrous season. Masai Ujiri and Bob Webster made a bet that the Raps were going to see playoff action and that there had been no need for a rebuild. What on the face of the earth are they thinking? Shooting is lacking. team has a limited bench, had limited bench production. Let's go back to that game against the Portland Trailblazers. The Raps have had trouble scoring 100 or more points in regulation. And I'm just gonna update that game card. So, okay, 99-91. Okay, so the Raps didn't allow an opposition team to score 100 or more points. But the Raps themselves didn't score 100 or more points either. If you look at that, in terms of the bench, it was kind of a mixed, in terms of the starters, a kind of mixed bag. A couple of minuses from Pascal Siakam at -2 and Jakob Poeltl at -5. Dennis Schroeder put up 10 points, +1. New acquisition, played 32 minutes. Siakam played 35, put up 20 points. Scotty Barnes played 37 minutes, put up the same number of points. And yeah, the field goals, so pretty much any shots that were not free throws, but they're not free throws and well, not great. But you want to get most of the free throws, but 11 for 15, ugh, not good. 3-pointer was quite bad, 4 for 29. Supposed to 11 for 35 for the Trailblazers. That's part of the difference here. Four 3-pointers. That's 12 points. 11 3-pointers landed for 33. So 33 to 12 on points earned via 3-pointers. That proved to be a huge reason the Raptors lost that game. It's just unbelievable. It's time to say, it's time to get rid of Malachi Flynn, Jaden McDaniels. There was no player on the bench who did get to play for the Raptors who ended up having a plus-minus better than Chris Boucher's -3. On points, Malachi Flynn got the most at 6. Jaden McDaniels got the least at 0. No bench player who did get to play played more than the 21 minutes of Grady Dick, a draftee from last summer. I just don't know what it's going to take. It's time for Darko Rajakovic, new head coach, to call players only meeting. The Pensari basketball YouTube man claimed that had needed to happen, and another man, I forget his name, but I know I tweeted about that as well. But there's no doubt, this Raptors team is rotten to the core. Indeed. And when it comes to, I go back to in terms of the Leafs getting depth scoring, to a February 2023 episode of the Daytime via Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Real Kipper and Bourne Show, and acclaimed by co-host Justin Bourne, of having wanted to know who, among then members of the Leafs roster, outside the Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander quartet, was, quote, going to score. When I think of the Raptors, I think of an episode from April on the City TV Toronto morning show Breakfast TV, claims by Stixero, various claims made that the acquisition of Jakob Poeltl quite possibly would turn out to have been a waste draft capital, as Poeltl at the time had not been signed to a new contract. Well, Poeltl would end up being signed last offseason to a new contract, but there was a possibility Poeltl would walk in unrestricted free agency. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Yet, it was quite embarrassing. Players, coaches who were checked out. That Xero claimed that, figuratively speaking, the front office going into last February's NBA trade deadline quote, should have thrown a stick of dynamite, unquote, into the roster. And try to get a ton of assets, draft picks, prospects, you name it. The Raps had, quote, no bench, unquote, and that President Ujiri and GM Webster have been responsible for that aspect, that not so good aspect. That togetherness, that, quote, togetherness on the court, unquote, had been quite limited. And yeah, it's hard to disagree with Sixero's claim that last season had been, quote, a group failure, unquote. Well, yeah, the Calgary Flames have been a group failure so far this regular season. Like, so much for that 10-0 pasting of the Vancouver Canucks on the first game preseason play. So much for that. This Flame team can't shoot straight. It's been say a lot about the Calgary Flames, and when it comes to the talking point, whatever it is, let's go to. Oh yeah, TSN the talking point. Yeah, Craig Button on that episode claimed the Flames shouldn't rule out, that Flames GM Craig Conroy shouldn't rule out a rebuild. There's no doubt. This Flames team looks like a disaster. I also did know about on Jeff O'Neill, goes by ODog in TSN Circles, having claimed on an episode of TSN 1050 Radio's late afternoon Eastern Time show Overdrive 1050 about the Flames having been, quote, in big time trouble, unquote. And that had been just during the first 12 seconds of that episode. Posted on the clip, posted on the TSN YouTube page. And also, interview on Monday Eastern Time of Eric Francis, Sportsnet Flames analyst, claimed that that the mood in the locker room of that Alberta roster had been, quote, heavy, unquote. I mean, Daryl Sutter's gone, and the Flames are still not very good. Well, Nick Nurse gone as Raptors head coach. Guess what? Philadelphia 76ers hired Nurse in June. And the 76ers end up being the Raptors. When will the Raptors get their next win? I don't know. It's not looking too good. I see this team, if it's lucky, finishing 10th. But it may not even get to that. I do predict that if at any point the Raps end up 8 or more games out of a play-in spot, that it probably will not see play-in or play-off action. If we're given if at any point this NHL season, any Canadian team in the NHL is 10 or more points out at any point in the season, if not already eliminated, I predict no playoffs for that team. Flames and Oilers are not looking too good. The Leafs, Jets, and Canucks are in rather precarious positions in top 3 divisional spots. So that will be rather important here. I mean, the Leafs have to win. It's simple. They got to bank those points until they can be well ahead, at least 10 points up on the 4th place team in the Atlantic. That, or alternatively, 10 points up on the nearest non-playoff team, if in a wild card. And that is going to be an issue. The standings are tight. The Penguins have ended up being the worst. Have 3 wins and 6 regulation losses. And they've been pretty much a disaster. So the Leafs are going to have to start putting up the points and getting that offense going, because if they don't, it'll just be a matter of time before they drop down. they drop further down the Eastern Conference, and maybe, if they go on that, multi-game losing streak, they could be down in last place in their division in no time at all. So it's time to smarten up, get ready to put some pucks on whomever the LA Kings start net, and then maybe the Leafs end up with a win. But the Leafs have to win. It's just their circumstances will give them no choice. And that is going to be important. The Raptors, I don't have much hope. I see among the Jets are quite vulnerable. The Canucks still are in a precarious position. But if they win, they'll be in a lot less precarious. Golden Knights probably won't be catchable. But in any case, the Golden Knights are almost 10 points ahead of the 4th place team in the Pacific. That'd be the Anaheim Ducks. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. The Leafs are going to have to work very hard just to stay above the playoff line. Because if they don't, they could drop down in no time at all. So just to make sure that if you do like the video, to please make sure to click the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. If you also click the notification bell, you get more timely notifications of videos that I put out. I try to put out videos of these every other week. On that note, I'm going to say, go Leafs go Raptors go. With respect to the MLS Cup playoffs, go Whitecaps go. With respect to much of the rest of the MLS season, go Toronto FC go. And in terms of other Canadian national sports teams that I cheer for, go Canada go.